Thanks for tuning into Dirty Teeth and welcome back to the channel. A couple of months ago, I built up the newest member of my bicycle quiver. His name is Sylvester, aka Sly, and he's a Y-Cycles Big Iron V2 fat bike.
Whew, I love this bike. So much fun.
Some of you might have met him already if you watched the unboxing video. If you haven't seen it yet, we go through the build and component specs, details, pricing, and all that jazz. I've now been riding this beautiful steed pretty much non-stop for well over a month. My riding has been 100% on snow in a variety of conditions. Everything from warm and slippery snow to firm and cold snow. Slushy, icy, freshies, groomed, packed, bluebird skies, flat light, you name it. Everything from mellow cruiser rides to flowy single track, as well as some epic climbs and descents. Now that Sylvester's sufficiently broken in, I feel comfy sharing my overall impressions, which is what I'm going to do in this video. In the 100% stock configuration, Sylvester weighed in at 29 pounds and 14 ounces. Shortly after filming the unboxing, I made 3 changes to the bike. First, I updated the mule foot wheels to head big aluminum half deals. More on those in a moment. Second, I swapped out the dropper seat post, which is overkill for my winter riding needs. I replaced it with a 9er RDO carbon post, which I've used on numerous bikes over the years. It's light and has plenty of dampening and flex to it. Finally, I took off the stock grips and replaced them with some super squishy wolf tooth mega fat paws. These changes dropped the total bike weight almost 2 pounds. Sylvester now weighs 28 pounds even. In terms of handling and geometry, I couldn't be happier. Right away, I started enjoying the slack head tube. The front end is super light and responsive and floats well on snow. It's easy to flick up if I need to hop over a snow berm. The short stem helps with this and contributes to putting me in an upright, relaxed posture. This is great for the long days of slow speed snow riding, which I love. The frame itself is nice and soft, or what the bike industry calls very compliant. It's probably a little nicer to my body than carbon and soaks up the vibration and chatter of snowmobile tracks. I do wish the main triangle was a little bigger so it could fit a higher volume frame bag. But the low standover is quite nice. There's ample room under the down tube for multiple cargo cages and storage bags. After seeing plenty of other big iron bikepacking setups, I know I'll be able to get creative with storage, but I still wish there were more than 2 Brazons under the down tube. This is the first time I've ridden legit 27.5 fat bike wheels and tires. I don't count plus wheels. I was a little nervous I'd feel too raised up or high off the ground. But I'm stoked at how the Big Iron maintains a low bottom bracket height even with the bigger wheels. I still feel plenty low and connected with the snow. When I built the bike up, I set the sliding dropouts right in the middle, and that's where they've remained. I had every intention of playing around with them, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's plenty of tire clearance, and more importantly, it feels perfectly dialed for me. Super stable on high-speed descents, but still fun and playful on snowy single track. Maybe I'll play around with them in the future, especially if I switch to different wheel sets and sizes. But for now, it's Malcolm in the middle. Climbing efficiency and power transfer is fantastic. When I'm sitting and spinning up steep hills, the balance is on point. It's easy to plant my butt in the saddle and grind away in the granny gear. I find myself maintaining traction on the same climbs I've slid out on and had to hike with my old bike. Either this bike's more efficient at climbing, or I'm just getting stronger in my old age. Or maybe a combo of both. Either way, I'm happy. When it's time to head down, I've noticed I'm going faster with more confidence and control. I attribute this to many of the reasons I've already mentioned, like a low center of gravity and a slacker front end. It's easy to keep my body well positioned with my arms nice and relaxed. This keeps my front wheel nimble where it might otherwise try to auger into deeper snow. Sylvester really feels like a Cadillac on high-speed straightaways, but still responds instantly when I lean him into fast corners. He pretty much descends like a trail-oriented hardtail mountain bike with jumbo tires. With regard to component performance, no real surprises here. The head wheels are living up to their reputation. Even though these aren't carbon, they're still very light, coming in at just over 2,200 grams for the set. To add some context, that's 600 grams or roughly 1.3 pounds of less rotational mass than my previous mule foot wheels. That's nothing to sneeze at. In addition, I was able to set them up tubeless with my floor pump on the first try. And they haven't burped once, even at extremely low PSI. Regarding the bigger 27.5 size, I find they definitely roll over chunk and chunder better than my previous 26-inch wheels. This was a pleasant surprise, as I honestly wasn't expecting to notice much of a difference. That being said, the only reason I'd consider going back to 26-inch wheels is if I had an expedition that required maximum float and I wanted to use 100mm rims. Otherwise, these are my jam. The narwhals are proving to be great all-around tires. The substantial knobs really dig in and grip like nobody's business. On the other hand, they're not the lightest tires out there. So as you might imagine, they're a little sluggish on hard pack and groomers. But they really shine in deeper fresh snow and slippery late afternoon sun-affected snow. They also corner well on rip and descents and offer stellar braking traction. The 120 casing is super supple when set up tubeless. I've been running them anywhere between 3 and 10 psi with a sweet spot between 6 and 8 for most of my riding. Combined with the head wheels, this setup is completely carefree. I haven't had to use fatty strippers or anything. I just popped on the tires, squirted in some sealant, and they were ready to roll. The NV fork is light and stiff and rides well. But the flip chip can be a bit annoying. The through axle can easily pop it out of its home when you're putting the front wheel on. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with this out in the field, but I'd be pretty bummed to lose a flip chip in the snow. Which reminds me, I'm gonna put some electrical tape on it to make sure that doesn't happen. Fixed. I'm also slightly disappointed there aren't any 3-pack mounts on this fork for cargo cages or water bottles. It seems like a no-brainer these days and everybody else is doing it. Envy already specs these mounts on their mountain and adventure forks, so I'd expect to see an update soon. The Eagle drivetrain is flawless. Shifting is firm and precise, and I haven't needed to make any adjustments since I first indexed it. The 10 to 52 tooth EXO cassette is a winner. I've been grateful to have the bailout gear on many occasions already, and I haven't even loaded the bike up yet. The GX cranks are more than adequate, and the bottom bracket has remained silent and creak-free. But since the frame is so flexy, I think stiffer, lightweight carbon cranks are definitely on the horizon. On that note, I'll probably switch the stock 30-tooth chainring to a 26 or 28-tooth oval. I find ovals give me better traction and a smoother stroke, especially on super slow granny gear climbs. And I know I'll appreciate the smaller ring when Sly gets loaded up with extra weight. For the time being, I'm sticking with the stock bottom bracket. But when I swap cranks, that'll give me a great chance to slip in a Chris King thread fit just because. Let's see, I'm loving my uber fat silicone grips. They're super plush and stay warm and comfy in my pogies. The NV handlebars are responsive and super bendy. They're definitely the most flexible and compliant carbon flat bar I've ever used. They totally help take the curse off of washboard snow and the rigid fork. Envy markets them as the perfect trail bar, and they just might be. I think I'd dig them even more on my mountain bike, so I'll be giving them to Dolphina soon. Why? I'd like something longer for this bike. Normally, 780mm length is plenty for me. But if I use bar ends and slide everything inboard so I can use them with pogies, it eats up real estate and effectively makes a narrower bar. I also feel the need for more than 9 degrees sweep. I feel hand and wrist pain creeping in after more than 3 or 4 hours on the bike. I'd prefer a bar with sweep in the 16 to 20 degree range. Unfortunately, the bars I have my eye on aren't in stock, so these will stay on for now. I'm also keeping the stock saddle on for the time being since my backside hasn't complained at all. My verdict on this bike can be summed up in 2 simple words: comfortable and versatile. Thankfully, that's just what I was hoping for. So far, Sylvester's handled everything I've thrown at him and passed with flying colors. I'm confident that once I load him up for bike packing, he'll be fully expedition worthy as well, which is the main reason I got this guy. If all goes well, I'll keep saving up money so I can perfect them with the changes I mentioned. I also hope to pick up a frame bag and rear rack by next winter. We'll see how that goes. So if you're in the market for a high-end, do-all titanium fat bike, you might want to keep the Y Big Iron on your short list. Do yourself a favor and Google the Marty Robbins song the Big Iron is named after. I especially like the Johnny Cash rendition. Anywho, are there any questions or points I forgot to touch on? Don't be shy, let me know in the comments below. And if you found anything entertaining or useful in this video, please give us a like. I upload fresh bike content every week, so please consider subscribing to the channel and tapping the notification bell. I hope you'll also think about joining our Trail Magic Monday campaign of giving on Patreon. Until next time, ride bikes, give back, pit forward. Thanks so much for squeezing dirty teeth into your busy schedule. Please help us reach more people and ensure you receive new videos by giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. Until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward.